So, my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 109,500 US dollars. Yesterday, we didn't manage to reach a new all-time high, but that can happen over the course of today. Why? Because talks between the US and China are going very well right now, and this afternoon we have the CPI data coming out. Those are coming up, plus the auction of the 10-year government bonds. So I would say that today will clearly determine whether we move up toward 114, 116K, and then possibly even keep our fractal active, like we talked about, I think, in the video from the day before yesterday, with the 170,000 US dollars, or whether we actually see a small correction. In my opinion, today will definitely show us that. It's going to be very exciting, especially because the stock markets are very calm right now and are basically just waiting. We can see it in the forex markets too. Of course, we'll get into that in just a moment. But before we get started, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, you're more than welcome to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade all of this, feel free to sign up with my partner exchange, BingX. The link for that is also down in the video description or in the comment section. By doing so, you'll be supporting the channel and, of course, me as well, and you can grab up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses. Alright. So, with Bitcoin at 19,500 US dollars, things are very quiet. If we take a look at the daily chart right now, we can see that, yesterday we actually had a relatively good candle. But again, we didn't form a higher high here. So that makes me a bit skeptical again, but hey, anything can still happen. So there's no need for us to put any pressure on ourselves or anything like that. For me, what's important is how the week closes and how the candles will shape up over the next few days. And what's important is that we need to close above 111,700 US dollars, even with a daily candle. Those are the key aspects we definitely need to pay attention to in the coming days. On the 4-hour time frame, we still have a very high RSI and so on. But as we already talked about yesterday, it's actually time for a correction, but that doesn't mean we couldn't still quickly move up again to grab some liquidity. If we just take a quick look at the news situation today, wait, what day is it today again? It's Wednesday again already. Man, that's really wild. Okay, so if we take a look at the news situation this Wednesday, we have the CPI data. The expectation is, or rather, it's assumed that it will rise to 2.5%. That means the inflation data is expected to rise to 2.5%. Is that really good? No. Is it reality? Yes. If we go above 2.5% here, I think we'll have a bigger problem. And then that will probably also be the dump indicator. That means today at 2:30 p.m., it's extremely important to see how we react to it. The same goes for the core rate, 0.3%. These will be important data points for us. Then, I believe, tonight exactly at 7 p.m. is the auction for 10-year government bonds. Let's see how much demand there is for them, or if there's no demand at all. Especially committing yourself for 10 years, that's a whole different story. And I think tomorrow is the auction for the 30-year government bonds. So today is going to be a pretty interesting day, especially since I think volatility will really pick up at 2:30 p.m. and that will set the direction. If we look at the funding rates, they've gone up a bit, but nothing too dramatic. So, sure, with hyperliquid here, I wouldn't take it too seriously, and crypto.com is in the red zone, but it's not really a big deal. But all the other exchanges are in a neutral range. They're not negative anymore, but being in a neutral range doesn't really mean much. Let's take a look at the heat map. On a weekly view, we've pretty much cleared out everything to the upside by now. So, that's 1 week. Let's switch to the 2-week chart, if it would load. That's not my fault. Good morning. Oh, come on, whatever, it doesn't matter now. Let's quickly check out the 1-month chart, if that loads a bit better. Perfect. With that in mind, that's really the only area up top where we still have a lot of liquidity left, and that's between 111 and 113K, or at most 114K. You might remember, that's been my target for a few months now, at most, up here at 114, 116K. That could possibly be the impulse we see today. If the numbers are really good, if the auctions go really well, we'll probably have a bullish sentiment, even if the trade deal between the US and China really takes off. Then we'll have a completely bullish sentiment, which could push us up here or even to my bull run top zones. which would be up here between 120,000 and 125,000 US dollars. Those would be the bullish scenarios. Will that happen in the morning? I don't really think so. If we get negative news, be prepared for 107,800 or even 107,000 US dollars. That's the first smaller zone where you could start thinking about a long idea. So this area here, the first red box. The second one should or actually has to hold. That's this zone here at 105,000 to 104,000 US dollars. That one has to hold if we want to stay bullish. Otherwise, I see more of a dump toward 98,000 or 93,000 US dollars. So for us, that means wait and see, take profits, and yeah, basically secure the trades as well. It's really, really important today to do everything before 2:30 p.m. and then see how the market reacts to the data. Let's move on to the altcoins. They're pumping a bit, or at least they're not looking too bad. Ethereum is back up here at our resistance level, but respect, by the way, we actually got a 4-hour close above our last high over here. That's already looking good. The target is still 3,000 US dollars. It's going well. It's a shame we didn't come back down here again yesterday. That would have been a good entry as well, but it could still happen. I wouldn't rule it out at this point. Same thing applies here. Profits taken, stop loss at entry, because the volume is already dropping off again. MHM, it's really not the best situation you could have here. Solana, if we look at the chart, top, really strong move. Yesterday we talked about take profit 1, now it's take profit 2. You could definitely take that one easily, no problem. What was the reason? Possibly an ETF being approved in 3 to 5 weeks. Okay, let's see what kind of impact that will have. Since we don't have a lower low anymore, the bullish count is active. That means we should continue moving toward the golden pocket, and up there we'll see whether we get a reversal, which would fit well with the overall market if bearish news comes in, or if we just break through relentlessly and the altcoin season could really get started. So make sure to secure your altcoin trades as well, take profits, and we'll see the rest this afternoon. Let's move on to the traditional markets. What's gold doing? Gold, yeah, gold is still kind of just moving sideways, so sideways price action, not much is really happening. Here too, I think people are still waiting for the inflation data before the next big move, which still looks like it could push things upward toward a new all-time high. Depending on how the inflation data turns out, etc. You know the drill, but honestly, it doesn't look too bad right now. It looks like we could keep pumping upward. The traditional markets are showing a pretty similar picture at the moment. Dow Jones is in a sideways phase, not much is really happening. Nasdaq isn't far from our all-time high anymore. Apparently 1.3, 1.5, 1.35%. Okay, in terms of volume, yeah, there's a bit more coming in. Let's see what today brings. So, in my opinion, today or within the next 24 hours we'll see a decision, either an all-time high, possibly a blow-off top, or back into a correction. In my opinion, that's going to be decided everywhere, especially if we keep an eye on the current news situation. The S&P 500 isn't far off either. Tesla has also recovered again. By the way, just be careful. Honestly, I still don't like this whole situation at all, not one bit, 0.0. But like I said, an all-time high is very, very likely, and only after that will we probably be able to start a correction, at the earliest. And then, over to the DAX. Yeah, the DAX had a little turnaround, but I'm not shorting that thing. I'm sticking with that. Let's see if anything ever happens here. But honestly, it's gotten very, very quiet. You really have to say that. It actually looks more like we're slowly getting a kind of rounding top here. We need to watch how the numbers from the US affect the DAX, and whether there might still be a small short entry here, but honestly, I prefer to just stay away from it. So then, last but not least, the euro against the US dollar. Same story here, complete sideways price action. Not much is really happening there. If the interest rates or inflation data turn out to be normal or better, then people will probably expect, then there will be expectations again that we might see falling interest rates, which could possibly trigger a shift from the Eurozone into the US dollar. The dollar hasn't really been strong in recent days, and again, there's no real price action here either. That would then lead to this theme. If the inflation data comes in higher, well, then I don't know. It's more likely that the euro will just shoot up. So, I'm still holding back a bit here. I'm still more on the long side here, I'd say, hoping that we might get a little shakeout around the numbers, maybe down towards 1.132, possibly even to the 200 SMA on the 4-hour chart. That's the idea, that price range, and then it's off to the moon. And then, well, we'll see how long this can really keep going, since we've still got all the carry trades running, especially between the US and Japan. Right now, capital is simply being shifted around. I've mentioned this a few times in the live streams. Capital is moving into safe havens, meaning gold, and possibly other currencies, because the US dollar is currently way undervalued and just isn't offering much. That's why money is flowing into the Eurozone or into the yen. Let's see how much more this whole thing will inflate. That's all from my side for now. Later on, I think there will be another video, and maybe a stock video as well, but I'm not sure if I'll manage to get that done because today is a bit hectic. But otherwise, I'd say we'll probably catch up this afternoon or at the latest tomorrow morning. I wish you all a nice and pleasant day. Take care of yourselves and, feel free to join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group, leave a like, subscribe, and join the Telegram group. Until then, bye-bye, and as always, stay crypto.